Turning it around, The Flame, Part 2. She is looking for an apartment as we speak. Unfortunately, she doesn't make a lot of money, so it's taking some time. Plus, I don't want my kids to spend half the week in a bad neighborhood, so if she has to get on a waiting list and wait for a good unit to open up in a nice area, I'd rather she did that for my kids' sake. I do want her out so I can start having fun too. Respectable woman doesn't date guys who still live with their spouse. I guess my wife didn't get the memo. Update, divorced. I filed about 30 days ago and the court already signed off on everything and it is official. I got the house 50% of the time with the kids, no alimony or child support. She never lawyered up. Honestly, between the other man jerking her around and dealing with me emotionally, she was too preoccupied. We are both shocked, more so her it seems, over how fast it was. The lawyer I consulted said by Christmas. We never even went to court. I had the WS sign everything, not just the petition, all up front, in case she changed her mind later while she was in fantasy land and still being cooperative. That plan seems to have paid off in spades. So, what now? She still lives with me because it's only been 6 weeks since I found out about the She is looking for an apartment, though slowly. OMW is still trying to R while other man is still telling WS he wants to be with her. Other man is obviously playing both sides, so he comes out with something. While I had many talks with the WS, I don't see any chance for reconciliation with this screwed up situation going on, and WS won't do the heavy lifting to even try. I'll be damned if I'm going to fight to salvage us if she won't. So, I guess once she leaves, we're done. If I had no kids, I wouldn't care if she lived in a van down by the river. She has the kids 50% of the time. I don't want them to visit mommy in some scummy apartment. I don't know, to be honest. It would purely be for spite at this point. She claims she reports to a new supervisor now, which I believe. Backstory is rumors started circulating around the office when word of the D got out, so she was moved discreetly by upper management. I could try to make her life more miserable, but her having no job is not going to get her out of my house and my life any faster. We're D now, so I keep asking myself, what does it really matter? She's going to do whatever she wants and I need to stop caring what she does. I told his wife. She's been a real B to him ever since, from what I hear, and she's watching him like a hawk. His family knows too, so everyone is well aware now he's a piece of crap. I doubt she will find anyone who will treat her as well as I did. I actually have seen my rank rise and she has noticed too. I've been working on me and it's become obvious to everyone. I know I didn't make this as hard on her as I could have. My goal was to get the best D results possible, which I got, and not an R. That's why I let her stay in fantasy land for as long as possible, which sucked emotionally for me. I already told her in no uncertain terms that I will not allow her to live with me while she maintains contact with the other man. She actually suggested we be roommates at one point. I don't want that toxic drama around me anymore. Having her move out is the final step, and if I don't see serious effort from her in finding an apartment soon, I will give her a deadline. I know the only way I can heal is if I move on. Getting her fired would be out of spite. I would have done it day one if it only affected the piece of crap. They would both be canned. So again, how will her being unemployed get her out of my house any faster? It's easy to peddle all this alpha crap when I'm the one who has to deal with the repercussions. I didn't get a 30-day divorce on excellent terms by being a hothead. I played a calculated game and won. They don't know yet. When she finds an apartment, we will sit them down and try to explain to them the new living situation. We figured, why upset them now when it could take months for her to find a decent place based on her low income? That will definitely be the worst part of all of this. Marriage and was giving you what you wanted, and not because you showed a lot of spine. If she wanted out of the marriage, she wouldn't have had the affair. She didn't want the D, she wanted to be a cake eater and still does. She gave me everything I wanted, so I had no reason to throw her under the bus. That doesn't mean for a second I didn't have the will to nuke her and the piece of crap to HR. I also exposed to the OMW, which otherwise could have put me in a worse position. I could have done nothing and played it safe. That would have been the smart move. Now that it's over, nuking to HR still does nothing for me unless I wanted to save the marriage. All it does is makes it harder for her to leave my house and puts me at risk down the road for her to lawyer up and try to get child support at a later date when she realizes how broke she is. Until they are 18, she can continue to petition the court for it, and I'll have to deal with that nonsense. And for what? 5 minutes of gratification. That would imply I still care, and if I was truly want to be detached, then I shouldn't. Why did she give me everything you wanted? It wasn't because of any threat I made about exposing the OM, because it never really got that far. She didn't want a legal battle she couldn't afford, and she knew I would fight. She knew she was in the wrong, and maybe, just maybe, she felt a tiny bit of guilt. She's also a little too naive, which is why she believed the OM's crap in the first place. There's no one reason, and honestly, I got what I wanted, so who cares? Last Thursday, when the OMW hacked the other man's iPhone and retrieved the deleted messages between him and my WS, then OMW tossed him out of the house. Didn't think she had it in her, but I guess her eyes are open now. She also sent me an email telling me they were still in contact. I already knew, but it was nice she told me. This also had the added bonus of infuriating my WS because other man was telling her that he and his wife were over when clearly they were not. So now she feels betrayed too because she trusted the other man. Welcome to my world B. Update: me and the OMW have been swapping emails fairly regularly. The other man has attempted false R with the OWM 3 times now and all have failed after she hacked his iPhone each time. She's pretty fed up with him and seems to be done. Other man and my WS are still texting each other up last Friday. The wife claims they kissed a few times but have not been intimate in over a month. While divorced, my WS still resides with me. She applied to a few apartments but they fell through. This past weekend she begged me for a reconciliation. She said she continued to contact the other man because she didn't want to be alone. This is the first time she has tried to save our relationship since D-Day 2 months ago. I think she has finally realized she was used. There has been a huge change in her persona over the last month as more and more crap has come out. I'm not sure what to do anymore. What would have been my 8th-year wedding anniversary recently passed. Funny side note, I guess the OMW found a bottle of Cialis in the other man's truck. I guess neither one knew about his erectile dysfunction. What a winner she picked. She literally can't be alone. She's had a boyfriend since she started dating. She has a lot of psychological issues, father abandonment, mom's nuts and has been married 4 times, etc. Not excusing her, just explaining why she thinks she can't be on her own. I told her I would consider it but make no promises. I know I'm stupid. As much as I hate what she did to me, I really feel sorry for her. I really think she was stupid enough to be blinded by this fantasy world they created. No tells you how pathetic the WS becomes when the fog lifts. It's hard to watch. For the moment anyway, she seems genuine, but it was only this weekend that I could actually start to see a noticeable change in her. And if she was sincere, how do I forgive being used as Plan B? Just because Plan A turned out to be a lie, now she realizes what a wonderful man I am? I want to help her, but I know I'm an idiot if I do. I want to believe she realized that she loves me, but I can't help feeling like she just realizes I'm just a better option now that she sees the OM as just a turd in a pretty wrapping. She's addressing them now. After 2 months of carrying on with him after D-Day, she's actively looking for a job. She's going to get a new counselor, the one she has sucks. I just don't know even if she does everything I ask, and she seems willing now. Whether that is enough? She still to this day stubbornly denies they did anything other than kiss and hug. Maybe my calling when she was in the parking lot spoiled the mood that day. I do know her intent was to sleep with him. She denies that too but says that was probably his assumption. So, who knows what ended up happening. Assuming they did sleep together, I'm fairly certain that was the last physical encounter they had, and I have evidence to support this, and that was 6 weeks ago. However, up until last week the abortion was still going on. That has since stopped on Sunday when she finally asked me for reconciliation. I actually feel better when she's not around. It's just going to be ugly getting her out because we're going to have to explain it to the kids. So, I'm not exactly in a super rush to break my kids' hearts. I guess she found out too late he was a turd. I would have gotten the divorce no matter what. She already used our marriage license as toilet paper, so if she wants to try to fix it then she will have to start from scratch. And every time she has to tell people why she got divorced, she can be constantly reminded why she's a piece of crap and how she took what she had for granted. Her new position now is I was never Plan B, that it wasn't serious with him and she was just having a selfish fling. That the being together soon texts were just fantasy talk. Based on everything I have discovered, I really don't buy it, and I'm kind of upset she would try to go this route to downplay the affair. I mean, is that really supposed to make me feel better? You still screwed the guy multiple times, didn't you? He never really dumped her rather than give lame excuse because he can't leave his wife. So basically, she realizes other man was playing her in the OMW. Either way, point taken. My comment: your wife is really getting on my nerves with her lies. And I don't even know her. If this really true, she is much worse than if she really planned to leave you. Think about it. All this pain to you and the kids, just because she wanted to have a selfish fling. How can you ever trust a person like that again? How often will she have these entitled urges? Don't believe a word she says. She is telling what comes to her at that point of argument to get back with you. If you end it with her once and for all, she will be back to dating some other new guy in a couple of weeks. Even then, her motivation does not seem to be love for you. It is desperation and worry about losing both her husband and lover at one go. Or it is to spite her OM who is reconciling with his wife. Why are still talking about reconciliation with her? OP responds, honestly, cause I'm stupid, feel sorry for her and afraid to be alone. I told her we are not back together. I need to decide if I want to work it out, and in the meantime, you can stay while you try to better yourself. That's why I'm here. I don't want to see her go, but I need to either have some self-respect for myself or accept that I am a doormat. And I want to believe that I am not a doormat. She trusted him completely. This was not a fantasy to her. At the end of the day, do I hate her for what she did to me? Yes. Do I think she is a selfish piece of crap? Yes. Do I still enjoy her companionship? Yes. Would I still have been happy with our relationship had she not done this? Yes. Is she a good mom and does she have other good qualities? Yes. I'm pretty torn up. It's like putting a dog you love to sleep. I mentioned a few times her moving out and she proposed that we keep the kids at my house and just trade off living there every 3 to 4 days so the kids are not displaced. My mother lives 5 minutes away so I could go there my off days and she could go to her sister's. Do you think that is making it too easy for her? I don't want to confuse the kids either by bouncing them around. If I kick her out for 6 to 12 months, and she really tries to fix herself, stays loyal and waits for me, should I consider her offer of reconciliation then? I know most of you don't think she can do it, but if she can, or am I a fool for ever taking her back? I told her again yesterday I don't know if I can be with her. To her dismay I remind her daily we are not together. She says she will accept it if I kick her out in a month or so and appreciates that I at least tried. I went full steam on the divorce. I knew she was carrying on still. She wasn't going to quit her job. She was ready to leave and had the applications for apartments out. I pretty much accepted we were done because she would never do the heavy lifting. I honestly never expected her to offer me or not once in 12 years has. She really fought for our relationship. She took me for granted mostly. Over the last week she has finally been completely attentive to my needs, has taken ownership of her wrongs, started looking for another job, has stopped texting other man, has given me a timeline and on her own decided to start going to church, which shocked me cause we're not religious at all. On Friday the other man left a note on her chair. She took a picture of it and emailed it to me immediately. She could have hid it and I would have never known. I just forwarded it to the OMW. For now, and for the first time she just seems sincere about trying to fix the damage she's done. But I'm not so blind to not see what's going on. I appreciate what is being said and it is not falling on deaf ears, but I admit I think her still being in the house, and in the interest of full disclosure we've been sleeping together since D-Day, has obviously affected me. I told her yesterday I am going to start dating apps. I told her I need to fix myself, the self-esteem issues I obviously have, and she needs to do the same. I don't want either one of us to try to continue this relationship out of comfort. I reminded her again we are still not together until I decide otherwise. It would be so easy for me to just cave in and rug sweep, but I don't want to. And I honestly want to see how long she keeps this up. I wonder how long it will last. Her response: she was upset but she reluctantly accepted it. I told her I needed to fix myself or she would never respect me. She said she didn't want to lose me or be used as plan B. I told her the only way I will know I could attempt R, for the right reason, and not because I'm afraid, is if I at least try to date other people. I'm still not sure if I want R regardless, but I'm still kind of screwed up in the head from all this to make a rational decision at the moment. I mean, it's only been 2 months since I found out. It still feels kind of surreal. The note between them, it basically said he apologized for ruining her life, understood why she doesn't want to talk to him, was sorry for causing her pain, and that he never lied to her about anything, which in itself is a ridiculous lie. She sent him a no-contact text 2 seconds ago. It looked like some attempt by him to reach out to her. The best part was after I forwarded the OMW the note she said, he told me he would have 0 contact with her. That lasted all of 1 day. Kind of upsets me because it's obvious she's telling me what she thinks I want to hear. And when I tell her that she just says, I figured, and well, I don't know how I can make you believe me. I'm more upset she's trying to flip-flop the story. It's almost like she doesn't want to believe she was so stupid to fall for what he is saying that she's convinced herself that she was just playing along. It's kind of pathetic, hence why I pity her. But I could see she took the betrayal by him hard. It was all over her face and now she's so grateful to have me. Wow, the more I type about this the more pissed I am getting. I told her 4 times I was going to tell the OMW, and after I did, when she came home screaming about it, the first thing she called me was sneaky. And I said, sneaky, I told you 4 times I was going to do it. And her response was, I didn't think you were serious. What the hell? I guess sleeping around behind my back doesn't make her sneaky. More hypocrisy. She never thought I would divorce her. She never thought she would get caught. She didn't think I would tell the OMW. She probably does think we will work it out cause she's just so damn charming. Yes, she still lives in my house, thank you judge, for now, until I decide to kick her out or if she leaves. She pays me rent, cleans up around the house, takes care of the kids, and I get laid. So, if she wants to stay in the short term while I try to look for a girlfriend, then whatever. I'm sure as hell not going to beg her to stay if it becomes too stressful for her. And I'll know fairly quickly if she rekindles the affair between me and the OMW, watching them like a hawk. She knows that too. I'm not going to say I'll never take her back, but this is far from over. I told her I am going to date and we are not together. If she wants to watch me date other women, then fine. I told her if she so much as says hi to another guy, especially the OM, she's out the door. I told her flat out I'm joining Match. Tom. She's accepted those terms regrettably. Hopefully she doesn't think I'm just kidding cause I'm as serious as I was about the divorce. She has one chance to show me she's serious about fixing herself, and after 1 week I will give her credit. But I'll need to see several months of this kind of effort. Even after that I offer no guarantees of she accepts this too. In the interim now she can be plan B for a while, and if I see real change in her and she wants to try to win me back, she's welcome to try. She better hope I don't meet my real soulmate in the interim. I need to date to see if I still want to be with her, if it makes sense, and if I find someone and it becomes serious then she's gone. All I care about now is my happiness. I do see what's going on. She probably does long for the POSOM much like I longed for the spouse I married 8 years ago. Now that reality has hit, we're both just playing the crappy cards we are dealt and seeing what we can salvage if anything. I guess I'm not fully ready to fold yet. I know it's stupid but I'm not going to sit on my butt and wait either. I'm still going to focus on me in the interim. I think dating is the next logical move. Maybe I'm trying to cake eat too. I can't make a decision so for now I'm in pseudo limbo. I want to see if she will stick with it. It's only been 2 months. Maybe in 6 I'll say to myself, to hell with her. If she doesn't progress it actually makes my life and decision a whole lot easier. I don't know his current living situation at the moment. I know he's been kicked out at least 3 times and the OMW keeps letting him back in after he makes a bunch of false promises to her. OMW emailed me again today with follow questions about that note I told you guys about. I think she wants to work it out but she keeps getting burned by him. She's not as financially independent as I am and with a newborn, she has a lot more to lose by filing D. She just went back to work on Monday. Before the affair her plan was to be a som. At least she knows now she can't depend on him anymore. The ex is actively looking for another job. I see her on the computer every night filling out applications and as soon as she does, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 months, I will email HR. I will nuke HR eventually and I didn't forget about that. So, come to find out his female boss is also a serial cheater and has been rug sweeping his behavior. Basically, has that I don't want to know attitude and just keep it out of the office mentality. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah at the employer. I see no reason in the meantime not to post him up online. However, why not I guess? The OM and his OMW are not very computer savvy or into social media. So, I'm not sure what it will do if anything but I guess it can't hurt. Should throw up the crotch shot of his tiny D he sent my ex. Like was something that small supposed to impress her. I don't even get it, I'd be embarrassed. My ex told me her ex-boyfriend and the OM both had small D and were bad in bed. So, I asked her, so that's what you want? She just says the bonding wasn't that important to her and it was more for emotional reasons. I wonder if she would have said that now that she knows about the Cialis prescription. Not a good sign when someone in their mid-30s needs that. I mean even bad bonding still feels good and she admits that. The bonding is what she gave him in exchange for all the attention he gave her. He made her feel good emotionally and she wanted to obviously return the favor. Most of the time in the back of his truck in an empty parking lot. Classy. I only know of one other subordinate and I haven't mentioned the other person yet because I don't really know much. I did meet the subordinate before because her daughter came to my son's birthday party. The story I was told about 2 years ago was the other man hooked up with her while he was engaged to be married to the OMW. There was a brief and they just kissed in his car. Nothing more than that. What I pieced together is the other subordinate got too clingy and he basically dumped her. The other subordinate no longer works there and my ex no longer speaks to her. I have absolutely no evidence to support any of this, just office gossip. So, I've been hesitant to drop this bombshell. I only know this story because my ex and the subordinate used to be good friends. The crazy part to me is my ex knew this story beforehand and still believed the garbage other man fed her about being together. Obviously, he fed the same garbage to the other subordinate. Why else would she have gotten so clingy after a kiss? I mean, how stupid can my ex be? I don't know what I want. I know I don't want to pretend like nothing happened. The anger from the betrayal made me see her clearly for the piece of crap that she was and I rammed that D down her throat. Now that the anger has subsided, I've slipped back into my old beta habits. While we are D now, you're right in a way. She hasn't had to face serious consequences for her actions yet. She desperately wants to go back to the way things were prior to the affair. All of a sudden, that person who was basically dead to her for 6 months looks pretty damn good right about now. Her exit affair blew up in her face so now she is executing plan B. I won the war. I got what I wanted. So why am I so afraid to strike the final blow and boot her out? How it will affect my kids always comes to my mind first but I know that's a cop-out. I don't really want to be with a person like her who would do something like that to me. I know I deserve better and I want better. I'm scared of venturing into that new frontier, I guess. She will not see another person because if she does, she's out of my house immediately. I promise that much. I'm not going to put up with one more second of that nonsense. She wouldn't anyway cause right now she's desperately trying to fix us. I'm just sitting and watching. She's making the effort at the moment. Even if I were alone and started dating, I wouldn't introduce anyone to my kids until it became a serious relationship. She disgustingly had no problem introducing them to the OM. I know it's the fear. I'm not under any illusions that somehow she is a better person all of a sudden. January 1st keeps popping in my head. New year and new beginnings, I suppose. Give it until then to do something. Either kick her out or jump back in. If I had to decide today, I would kick her out. I'm really just waiting around to see if I have a change of heart. I know I could never trust her again and I'd have to accept that kind of a dysfunctional relationship. I definitely will never marry her again. I know I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. She says she's trying to fix herself, but honestly the communication, while improved, is still lacking in some areas. She's been very graphic on what she did aspect of the affair. However, I get a lot of, I don't know why when I try to dig deeper on why part of it. She started acting like a wife when she finally realized the OM was never going to be a real relationship, and not a second before. It took 6 more weeks of lies from him after D-Day for her to accept that he was just using her and there was no future with him. Trust issues. Nothing concrete, just a lot of trying and attempting. I asked her yesterday how I can trust that this will never happen again, and she told me there are no 100% guarantees in life. That even I could cheat on her if tempted sufficiently enough. She acknowledges that she did a bad thing and that there is no justification for it. She felt our relationship was dead, we were over, that she was a zombie going through the motions, that I had no interest in her anymore, that she was just a housewife to cook and clean for me, etc., etc. The way she sees it is she had a relationship with the other man and she had absolutely no relationship with me anymore. This blew my mind because A, we are still married, so how can you say we have no relationship, and B, if that was true, then when were you going to tell me we had no relationship? Apparently, I should have just known this. News to me. I just find it interesting that I don't remember things being even 10% as bad as she claims they were. How can two people have such a different view of the same relationship? Was it super exciting? No, we've been married for 8 years, both work full-time and have 2 kids. I understand we were in a rut, but we still got along well. I still loved her. Our distance grew dramatically only after the affair started, and she detached herself from me completely so she could give her heart to him. She was so checked out of our relationship she cut off all physical contact, including kissing or telling me she loved me. Again, his only happened after the affair started, yet she points to it constantly as an example of how relationships are growing apart. If her perception of me was so bad, she could have just left me. If she didn't want to leave me, then she could have tried to fix our relationship. She claims she did, just she really didn't do much of anything. Instead, she decided to act like a completely selfish, immoral person. If I was so horrible, then what did the OMW do to you for you to become a homewrecker? In the end, everything points to one thing. She just wanted to be utterly selfish. She didn't care who got hurt, me, her kids, the OMW, etc. As long as she got her needs satisfied. She didn't care if her job found out, if her future was ruined. She didn't care about anything except getting her next emotional fix, and it is beyond belief that anyone could be so narcissistic. Then come home and pretend nothing happened. Just selfish. I can see it's giving her false hope that we will work things out despite me telling her we're not together. I do want to move on. I was literally divorced in 1 month. I would say 2 months should be enough time to find a place. I need to tell her first that she needs to go. I did, but when she asked for R, she assumed she could stay until I decided otherwise. I mentioned her leaving and we maybe try to R, and she said she would just go to her sister's. I want her to find a place, and the only she will be if I tell her we are 100% done. I am waiting for a certainty that I'm starting to think doesn't exist. I'm always going to have a doubt. Every time she starts to, she literally falls apart in tears and can't speak. She can't face what she did, so she demonizes me. Or she demonized us so she could justify doing what she did. Doesn't really matter. Human decency alone should have been enough. No one deserves to have their heart ripped out of their chest, even if I was a total stranger to her. My mom is convinced she never loved me. I unconditionally trusted her prior to the first year. I have never fully trusted her since then. Now I don't trust her at all. She doesn't know what to say because the answer is basically, "'Cause I wanted to satisfy my selfish desires and be bad." I wouldn't be surprised if she got off on being immoral. It's a thrill for some people and she feels shame for it. She wouldn't just come out and say it, that's why she has no answer. Of course, I still care about her. At the same time, I'll never trust her ever again. It would be impossible for me too. I can see she desperately wants things to work out. So, do I, but I know they can't. That relationship is gone and she finished it. So, unless I have some epiphany, I will tell her January 1st she has till February 28th to move out and be done with it. I'm willing to stay in limbo till after the holidays. Not because I want her to stay, but rather because I want to see if I have a change of heart. I hate her for what she did to me. She stabbed me in the back and gutted my heart and soul like a fish. She sold me out and pledged her loyalty to the other man. A man she knowingly knew was a cheating piece of crap himself. I will never forget that. I also want to see what she does in the next few months to change herself. I do believe she wants to change. I can see she is sincere in wanting to. I don't think anyone wants to be a piece of crap, but I don't know how much extraordinary effort she will put in. She knew what she did while she was doing it was horrible. It was just more important to her. In the end, even though we will no longer be together, I still don't want the mother of my children to be an immoral person. It matters to me what kind of environment my kids will be brought up in. She told me over the weekend she's falling for me. Since she's broken off the A, she has taken all this emotional energy she was dumping on the OM and has redirected it towards me. She suggested, trying to test the waters, I assume, wanting to do family portraits with the kids. I didn't say a single word. Interestingly, when I suggested family pictures in early August just prior to D-Day, she didn't say a single word. Just gave me this look like someone just passed. Amazing how much things can change in 2 months. My comment, what has she done to show she deserves to be taken back? Good intentions are not enough. As for now, all you can be sure of is that she is screwed up. She has nowhere to go, no support system, and no way of paying for the IC she desperately needs. It will take her months to find a full-time job, longer to establish herself in a stable residence, and that much longer to get into IC for her issues. It is going to take her a long time to get to a place where she is even ready to work on herself. And by the time she does all this, will she really want to change? She is stringing you along. You are all she has, and she has no ethical problem paying for her room and board with bonding. Is this that you want? Is this the way you want your kids to perceive their mom? As nothing more than a meat to her ex-husband? Let me finish the final ending, and I will see you there.